friend. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. And yes, I am your host, Todd Huff. Email, as always, or ever since we changed it anyway, todd@toddhuffshow.com. And so far as I know, we're streaming on social media this morning, but I've given up hope trusting these jokers a long time ago. But pleasure to be here. Thank you for joining us. You know, this, there's deception is a common, I guess, tactic of all I'm going to say the vast majority of politicians. The vast majority of politicians. It's not a new phenomenon to think that politicians suddenly, in the era of Trump, which is really what the media kind of wants you to believe, that, you know, people were just engaged in traditional politics, and then Trump came along, and that's when deception and lying and evil tactics were first employed. The reality is that this is what politics, unfortunately, has become. Politics is run, I guess you could say, or it involves people who use practices of deception and lying and, you know, just flat out not telling the truth. And so one of these, the latest untruths or lies, is what Jen Psaki keeps going to the podium and saying about Republicans as it pertains to defunding the police. Now, she's made a couple of statements. She's doubling down, tripling down on this ridiculous assertion that Republicans want to defund the police. It's as though history doesn't matter. And I don't know what. There's a lot of things I think that intersect here. First of all, there is the lack of awareness of a lot of Americans. They I think are hypnotized. Not you, not folks that follow this, but a lot of folks who just casually read headlines or follow some of the, I don't know, CNN talking heads or that sort of thing. They can be led to believe things. They can be led to believe things that simply are not true and accurate. And the idea that it's Republicans, and Jen Psaki has doubled and I would say tripled down on this idea. The idea that it is Republicans who furthered the concept or created the concept of defunding the police is absolutely, unequivocally absurd. It's completely ridiculous. But that's what she's up there at the podium saying. And what she'll say is, well, Republicans opposed this bill which funded police. Now, I want to stop for a minute because this is one of my pet peeves, I think, in politics. At least as politics are, I guess, discussed in today's society. And what my pet peeve, or one of my pet peeves, is in order to be in favor of something, you have to be in favor of federally funding it. So, for example, in order to be in favor of, let's just take an issue that I'm not, I mean, it's any issue, but let's say in order to be in favor of caring for someone who's from who lives in poverty. In order to be in favor of helping the poor, you have to be in favor of federally funding some entitlement program. For example, right? So if you're not in favor of some bill that comes up, the helping the poor bill, just as an example, you're blamed or you're castigated, you are branded as someone who doesn't care for the poor. You could have started 25 nonprofits, and you could feed an entire nation of a third world country, and that doesn't matter because you are against the bill. Because anyone who's in favor of helping a particular group of people in this example must be in favor of the bill. And so that's the first thing that I have a problem with in politics. Well, not the first, but in this conversation and Jen Psaki's approach here. So if you don't vote for the help the police bill, for example, you're branded as someone who doesn't care about the police. Well, what's in the bill, for starters? What's in the bill? And just because I'm in favor of funding police doesn't mean that I'm in favor of funding them indefinitely, or I shouldn't say indefinitely as far as a timeline, but just without any limits, right? I mean, budgets can, by their definition, are never, I mean, they're always, when you set a budget, you set a cap. So you could say, well, he doesn't care enough to spend $1 more or $5,000 more, or $50 billion more. And if that's the case, then we would literally never have any budget set whatsoever, because anytime you set a number, you've set a threshold, you've set a ceiling. Of course, the government just blows through these things anyway. And then we have continuing resolutions to raise the debt ceiling and all this sort of stuff, and we just hum our way down the road as though nothing's happening as we kick the can with us. So, but to say, just because you're not for a particular program, that is not necessarily at all synonymous with defunding the police. First of all, or secondly, I should say, it's also, just because I don't want to favor an increase or a new program or some bill that may have God only knows what tucked into it somewhere else, just because I'm not in favor of increasing the funding, it doesn't mean that I want to defund them. There literally are people, and they have been from city council members all the way up to members of Congress, and maybe even, I'm pausing here to think if all the jokers that were on stage during the Democrat presidential debates, I think there were jokers up there that were calling for defunding the police. I have to pause because I don't remember. I'm wondering if Inslee said something like that, the crazy radical from Washington State. I mean, the point is that this is not being said amongst Republicans. But this is what Jen Psaki wants you to think. And I'll tell you this. What this indicates is that this is a problem for the Democrats. Violent crime is increasing all around this country. And that's unfortunate. AOC's out there telling us that, we should keep this in perspective. This isn't, we shouldn't get hysterical, I believe she said, about this. But is it not ironic that the places, it's totally predictable, by the way. Is it not ironic? Is it not at least grab the curiosity? Does it not at least make folks who are actively saying, defund the police? There's hashtags about this. These were not created by Republican candidates. It's not created by any Republican in Congress or the Senate or some conservative pundit, some conservative talk show host. That's not who started this stuff. It is the radical left. This is undeniable. Although I wonder at some point if Jen Psaki calls up her friends at Google and she says, hey, can you help eradicate the history of this actually being Democrat ideas? I wonder how much help she would get from the radical leftists at Google. I've encountered this before. I use another search engine from time to time when I'm trying to find something. In fact, a lot of times I'm trying to find something I know I just read a couple of months ago, and I can't find it anywhere. I go to another search engine, and lo and behold, I find it. I find it using a different search engine. Google, on the other hand, suddenly can't find what I'm looking for, even when it's very specific. And sometimes even when you find it, if you put the words from the article, once you find it on the other search engine and you search for it in Google, you still may not find it, or at least have difficulties. It doesn't come up the same way it does for the other search engine, and that's not, my friends, an accidental thing. This is the sort of thing that Google, this is what having an ideological framework or an intention to move America in an ideological direction, these are the sorts of things that can happen. And so you factor all this together, and suddenly Jen Psaki can get up there on the stage behind the podium and make ridiculous claims that Republicans are the ones who want to defund the police. I want you to listen here briefly, and may have to stop this and come back to it after the break. But this is back and forth between Peter Doocy of Fox News and Jen Psaki, of course, the circle back girl from the White House, going back and forth on defunding the police and who it is that's actually doing that. So here's this exchange.
We've made from here.
And on another subject, you mentioned at the last briefing that you think Republicans wanted to defund the police because they did not support the American Rescue Plan. Which Republican ever said that they did not like the American Rescue Plan because they wanted to defund the police?
Well, first, let me just note that the president ran and won the most votes of any candidate in history on a platform of boosting funding for law enforcement.
Okay, I want to stop there. The president ran on a platform of boosting law enforcement. Do you remember this? Do you remember this being part of Biden's platform? You know what I remember being part of Biden's platform? It's really simple. Trump bad. Trump bad. I'm not Trump. That's what Biden's platform is. The idea that we had some sort of debate and that Trump was out there, I guess, is this the argument? Trump was out there campaigning to cut funding for police, and Biden said, oh, no, man, that is the wrong thing. Yeah, that's the wrong thing. It's the wrong thing to do, as he's telling stories about corn pop and everything else he's out there doing on the campaign trails. They hit him in the basement of his house while the geese were back there honking in the background while he got on stage occasionally in front of cars parked in a parking lot and horns honking from people falling asleep at the wheel and their heads hitting the horns and all that sort of stuff. Am I supposed to believe, and you're supposed to believe, that we had a debate about law enforcement in this country, and Biden was out there talking about increasing the funding, and this was a major part of the platform? I'm sorry, folks. That's not at all how I remember the 2020 election. Is it how you remember it? I mean, maybe it's possible one of the ultra radicals in the Democrat debate was up there clamoring to defund the police, and Biden made a statement about how that's not a good idea. That's conceivable. I think I dozed off during those debates, so I couldn't tell you for certain or not. But I can tell you this, it was not a central component of the reason Biden got elected. It's not something he was out there hammering, saying that comparing and contrasting himself against Donald J. Trump. Is she serious? Like, this is really what she's up here saying at the podium? I mean, of course it is. Nothing is beyond what these jokers will say. But anyway, so there's more to this I want to get to after the break. But again, the point here that she's trying to make that is absolutely factually incorrect is that it's Republicans who want to defund the police, not Democrats. Not Democrats. That means this is just a cue, again, that people understand that violent crime is a real problem, and they're starting to blame the Democrats. So now she's going to come out here and say that that's really a Republican idea. Sounds like a fair thing, to try to give a responsibility like this to Jen Psaki, to try to communicate this nonsensical gibberish and factually incorrect. Where are the fact checkers on this, by the way? NBC News, CNN, you fact checking this? The most trusted name in news. I want to see it because this is factually 100% wrong. Quick timeout. You're listening here to Conservative Not Better Talk. We'll continue this after the break. Sit tight, back in a minute.
Stay on top of the nonsense our colleges are subjecting students to today by listening to Todd's monthly interview series with Matt Lamb, assistant editor of The College Fix. Listen at toddhuffshow.com/college. Brought to you by Apprentice University. We understand how overwhelming it is for students to make life-altering decisions. We help you guide along the curvy pathway toward reaching your goals. You'll gain professional skills and learn to problem solve for your future career. Visit apprentice.university to learn more about this debt-free college, purposefully designed for your outstanding future.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Have you seen the price of custom cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
Hey Indy, Sid here with Kill a Dent Removal. We specialize in a paint-free repair process known as PDR. Our certified master technicians remove dents and dings of all shapes and sizes, including hail damage, with zero body fillers, zero painting, and zero diminished value. Most repairs are completed the same day, many even while you wait. Check us out at killadentremoval.com. And remember, folks, don't paint your car, go PDR.
Family owned since 1973, Edwards Equipment at 1375 East Main Street in Danville is ready to meet your equipment needs by selling, renting, and servicing several makes and models of lightweight residential or heavy-duty commercial equipment. We carry and service top-name brands like Ferris, Kubota, Steel, Gravely, Honda Power, Land Pride, and more. Visit edwardstractor.com or call 317-745-6427 to check out our clearance specials today. At Edwards Equipment, we don't just sell you any piece of equipment, we sell you the right piece of equipment.
Corn Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corn Homes, family-owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
You're busy. At Citizens Bank, we know your time is precious. That's why we're bringing a full-service branch to Stones Crossing for all your home, commercial, and personal banking needs. Looking to open an account, get assistance from your mortgage and commercial lenders, or just make all banking transactions right from your car? We can make it easy for you. Visit our new branch at 1767 West Stones Crossing Road. Citizens Bank. More bank for your buck.
Are you tired of manually opening the gate every time you pull in the drive, especially during the freezing cold, pouring rain, or hot, humid weather? Then Gatekeeper Services has your solution. They offer affordable residential and commercial motorized units for your gated properties. Veteran-owned with over 50 years' experience in motorized gate sales and repairs on any make or model, and with numerous entry control options, Gatekeeper Services takes pride being certified in both automated gate system design and operator installation. Simplify your life today by calling 317-714-4061.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
Welcome back, my friends. This program brought to you in part by one of my friends, Freegie Auctioneers, FREIJE, auctioneers with an S.com. In fact, TJ is actually coming over here this morning to go through some stuff. We've got some things that we need to, well, not just need, but want to share with you, and just not quite to that point yet. I think we'll maybe do that next week. We got some exciting news to share. A lot of stuff going on, and I think you'll I hope you'll enjoy hearing it. But anyway, it's in relation to that. TJ's coming over here this morning, actually right after the program. Of course, TJ probably wishes he was here during the program so he could talk as well. I'm not sharing this microphone with TJ, but anyway, they provide auctions services. Anything from, they have real estate auctions, they do firearms auctions, they have their big boy toy auctions, which is in the springtime, I believe. And so you can check them out, go to their website and see what they have coming up. Some of these auctions are online. Some of these you have to be in person. Some's a combination. But check them out. FreegieAuctioneers.com, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers with an S, FreegieAuctioneers.com. Be sure to tell them that the Todd Huff Show sent you. So I'm going to go back here to this soundbite of Jen Psaki and her attempt to try to lay the blame of the defund the police movement at the feet of Republicans. This is beyond absurd. This is akin to saying that Republicans are the ones who are trying to pass gun control legislation. This is akin to saying that Republicans are the ones who are trying to pass more pro-choice or pro-abortion legislation. That's what this is like. It's even, I would even say, worse than that. It's even more based in fantasy land than those statements would be. So she's up at the podium, and she's done this for multiple times now, multiple days, and she's telling the press that Republicans are the ones who want to defund the police. So I'm going to pick up where we left off. And of course, we left off with her telling us that Biden campaigned on this. And as I pointed out, Biden campaigned only on really one thing: orange man bad, I'm not orange man, as the radical left would say. That's basically Biden's campaign in a nutshell. And that's, I think, largely undeniable. That's why they could hide this guy in the basement for all these months. That's why he didn't go out and campaign. That's why, the issue of they used COVID. And again, I'm not saying that there is not. I don't want to get into the whole COVID thing at the moment, although there's certainly news on COVID. But they use that sometimes as an excuse, not even to engage the public at all. Right? We had a debate that was canceled, and then we had this on-air love fest between Biden and CNN that's supposed to be like a town hall meeting, when it was really just, how can we help you win an election sort of thing. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that, but the idea that Biden was actively campaigning for police, and I guess Trump's out there doing the opposite. This is a fake, phony, make-believe world that these jokers live in. So we're going to pick up there with Jen Psaki again, trying to lay the problem of the Defund the police, which of course is a result of some of the, it can be traced back to the Black Lives Matter movement, right? I mean, it's completely undeniable. It's right there for anybody who wants to see it. But Jen Psaki sees it completely differently, and here's where she picks up with that.
Republicans spent decades trying to cut the cops program. There's record of that. That doesn't require anyone having new comments, and then also stood in the way of crucial funding needed to prevent the laying off of police officers as crimes increased. That's a simple statement of fact.
I understand what you're saying there. However, there are lots of examples of Democrats explicitly saying they want to defund the police. We've got Congresswoman Cori Bush, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar. Are there any examples of Republican members of Congress saying they want to defund the police?
I think most people would argue that actions are more important than words, wouldn't you say?
Well, to that point, to your point there, at the time of the vote on the American Rescue Plan, you had the Republican leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell. He said he just didn't like it because he thought it was a classic example of big government Democratic overreach in the name of COVID relief. And then Kevin McCarthy said he thought Democrats were using coronavirus as an excuse to justify funding pet projects.
Well,
Where is
here
we're going to vote against this because we want to defund the police?
Again, I think actions speak louder than words, Peter. So if you oppose funding for the COPS program, something that was dramatically cut by the prior administration and many Republicans supported, and then you vote against a bill that has funding for the COPS program, we can let other people evaluate what that means. It doesn't require them to speak to it or to shout it out. Their actions speak for themselves. Go ahead.
Okay. So that's her argument. Her argument is if you don't vote for a piece of legislation that's called the COPS program, you're in favor of defunding the police. What she's referencing here, and I'm looking here at justice.gov, the COPS hiring program is a competitive award program intended to reduce crime and advance public safety through community policing by providing direct funding for the hiring of career law enforcement officers. The COPS office, I don't want to, that's in a nutshell. So if you're not in favor of a program that provides direct federal funding for law enforcement officers in local communities, you're defunding the police. Meanwhile, we literally have cities that are run by radical leftists who say we are going to defund the police. They take it's New York City. New York City is an example. You have this movement. In fact, it's part of this race for mayor that is truly a disaster. They cannot look at all the problems with this election. By the way, they counted test ballots or some such thing. You can't make this stuff up. Wonder if this will now be deemed as the most secure election in American history. But you've got this this misrepresentation of what Republicans are for here. But federally paying for local law enforcement, to me, Jen Psaki, seems as maybe one of the reasons Republicans wouldn't have been for this. It's not that Republicans are against police. It's that they're maybe against the way that this program specifically works, that it's federally funded instead of locally funded. Republicans, this may be a shock, and this doesn't apply to all Republicans. We've got some not so good Republicans either, but there is a thing called federalism and states' rights, and the federal government, again, as I mentioned off the top, one of the things that these jokers do is to tell us that in order to be in favor of something, you must be in favor of federally funding it, which is complete nonsense and gibberish. But this is, of course, what they tell us, and this is, of course, accepted as gospel truth by many in the media. But it's the radical left that's literally out there telling us they're going to defund the police. And then they defund the police. They take an existing budget and they slash it. Or they want to, instead of having law enforcement officers, have counselors running around in the street out there. Which, look, counselors have a place, but that isn't it, right? I mean, that's not it, especially when violent crime is exploding. New York City is becoming more and more dangerous. Lots of cities are. Chicago, as you know, is out of control. Lori Lightfoot up there, instead of addressing that, is determining which race of reporter she talks to on a given day. Totally absurd what we're dealing with here. The idea that defund the police can be laid at anyone's feet besides the likes of the Squad, the radical left, the Democrat Party in general, is laughable. They own this. They created this. This is their problem. This is their contribution. This is what you get when you elect people who have no idea what they're doing. When they kowtow to these radical leftist groups, this is what you get. This is exactly what you get. This is a case study. And now they blame the Republicans. And look, there's plenty of things I would like to, and I think the Republicans in general deserve blame for. But this, my friends, is certainly not one of them. No matter how much history Jen Psaki wants to rewrite here. Quick time out. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Ward's Apparel, Edwards Equipment, and Indiana Wooded Paradise Retreat by visiting supportouradvertisers.com today.
Are you looking to purchase waterproof flooring for your home? Did you know it's as easy as typing rnrproducts.com/Todd in your search engine for a great deal on our core tech line? Since 1971, R&R Products has provided brand name products at an affordable price to the listening area. Call 317-745-5794 or go online to rnrproducts.com/Todd. R&R Products. We make your flooring experience easy and affordable.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, Freije, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Fireplaces can be beautiful and even essential in heating some homes. But did you know they could be dangerous to your family if not properly maintained? Chimneys need to be cleaned and inspected annually. My family and I had Smalling Masonry inspect ours. They are friendly, informative, on time, and helped us use our wood-burning stove more efficiently. Call Christian-owned Smalling Masonry today at 317-903-8121 and mention my name, Todd Huff, for a 15% off chimney inspection and sweep. Flooded basement? Failed sump pump? Water damage happens fast this time of year. For 38 years now, Hayes & Sons has been restoring water damage in Indiana homes and businesses. They'll help you navigate your insurance claim and get your life back on track. So when a water disaster strikes, tell your insurance agent you want Hayes & Sons for your restoration work. Visit hayesandsons.com/Todd for more information.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the healthcare they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Now, if I was to ask you to give me a list of possible explanations for this tragic collapse of this building in or near Miami in Florida, would your first thought, and I want to, again, I want to get to the so-called analysis of the Biden administration and CNN here, working in conjunction as they take us through another walk through fantasy world here. But I want to first start with the human. Anytime there's a human, a tragedy like this, the collapse of this building, and they're still trying to recover, individuals. They can't find many. There's many missing people, but again, we're looking at tons of rebar and steel and concrete, and a lot of just it's sad. It's terrible, this tragedy. So I always, when we talk about these things, want to at least acknowledge that. I think that needs to be done, and sometimes it's not done, and it can come across, I don't know. It just needs to be addressed, I think, because what they're talking about here on CNN is utterly idiotic. So you might think that there's something to, and I know I don't want to get into the conspiracy theory crowd here. I don't want to, there's that out there. There always is with these things. But the building and its collapse, there were reports years ago where structural engineers found defects and concerns about this particular structure, and the weakening of the rebar and exposure to elements and salty air and all this sort of stuff may have over time contributed to taking away the structural integrity of this building. Those explanations for this and taking that conversation to where it needs to go seems to me to be the route that a conversation should go when we're looking at the causes or what may have happened here in this particular case with this building collapsing. But that's not where CNN and Biden Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm decide to take this. I want you to listen to this exchange really quickly here. Again, this is on CNN. I think it was a couple of days ago on Tuesday. Just listen to this. They're blaming, as you guessed it, climate change, or at least as a possible culprit here.
In terms of climate, you brought up what's happening, what we're seeing in the Pacific Northwest. We've been talking a lot about what happened in Florida at the Surfside condominium building that collapsed. We don't know exactly what happened at this point. But given what we know about the changing climate, given that we've seen an increase in these so-called extraordinary tides and the impact that can have in areas like South Florida, do you think that climate could have played a role in that building's collapse?
Well, obviously we don't know fully, but we do know that the seas are rising. I mean, we know that we're losing inches and inches of beaches, not just in Florida, but all around. Lake Michigan, where I'm from, we've seen the loss of beaches because the waters are rising. So, this is a phenomenon that will continue. Whether we'll have to wait to see what the analysis is for this building, but the issue about resiliency and making sure we adapt to this changing climate, that's going to mean levees need to be built. That means seawalls need to be built. That means infrastructure needs to be built.
There's the
we need to make
pitch
sure that we
bill.
invest enough in clearing out the forests so we don't have these weather events. We need to invest in hardening our transmission lines, maybe burying wires so that we can protect areas that are like tinderbox dry. There's so much investment that we need to do to protect ourselves from climate change, but also to address it and mitigate it. And hopefully these infrastructure bills, when taken together, will make a huge step and allow America to lead again.
Secretary Granholm, good to have you.
Hopefully. What does she mean, hopefully? Shouldn't it solve all those problems? I mean, again, we don't know. The seas are rising, she says. The seas are rising. Well, I thought Obama cured that. In fact, I remember back in 2008, he told after the election, this is the moment. Oh, yes, this is the moment. You might have remembered the God reverb on the microphone. This is the moment that the seas are going to begin to rescind. The seas even bowed at the name of Obama. It's utterly ridiculous to me. They're not quite sure. They're waiting for the information to come in as to whether or not sea level change or climate change contributed to this. And it's despicable. What do you mean? And by the way, she's also out here saying that effectively, one thing here that's actually accurate, or maybe a couple things, which is shocking to hear from the Biden administration, but or from the radical left in general. But she addresses dealing with some of the issues that cause some of the forest fires. And you know why some of these forest fires are, spread or start. Many of them are started by lightning strikes, but many of them are also started by old faulty power equipment, especially in the state of California, which is effectively the result of government legislation and forcing these utilities to put all of their resources in renewable new energy. And so they let these, I think I've seen 1940-something equipment, power lines, some equipment that's been around since the 40s, I believe. And so sometimes there's problems with those, obviously, that old of equipment. And then you've got a tinderbox, a dry forest that, they've not been allowed to do controlled burns in because, again, of radical leftist policies. And suddenly there's some arcing and sparking or whatever takes place along those transmission lines, and a fire takes place. So that is something that needs to be done. That should be done anyway, with or without infrastructure spending. What the world has that got to do with anything? But this is part of just maintaining what we've got in this country as part of our electrical grid and the way that we deliver electricity to citizens around this wonderful nation. But she has maybe stumbled into some truths there. But this idea that we're still not sure if we should blame any of this building collapse on climate change is utterly irresponsible and patently just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Quick time out here is in order. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Gray Brothers Cafeteria, R&R Products, and Reformation by supporting supportouradvertisers.com today.
There is plenty to worry about these days. If you're working with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual, your retirement and financial security doesn't need to be one of them. Blake is a time-tested financial advisor with over 20 years of experience at Northwestern Mutual. For an independent review of your financial planning needs, call Blake and mention the Todd Huff Show for a free initial consultation. Call 317-215-8322 or visit blakehornsby.com. Invest in your peace of mind with Blake Hornsby at Northwestern Mutual.
Quality glass windows and doors add value to your home or commercial space. At White's Innovative Glass, our family-owned and operated company will work with you to ensure we understand your vision before we begin. And if you don't have a vision, we can help with that too. We proudly stand behind our work and look forward to your call. Right now, we're offering 15% off your next project. Visit our website at whitesinnovativeglass.com/Todd.
Are you concerned about your investments? Intrepid Financial has been educating, customizing, and servicing Hoosier investment portfolios since 1998. Our family-owned and operated business builds strong bonds with our clients. When you call, we answer the phone, always ready to walk you through your investment strategy. Intrepid means without fear. We want our clients to be fearless, to feel secure with their investments. Give us a call at 317-818-1776 or visit us online at intrepidfinancial.com.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
I want to get one more season out of my furnace or air conditioner. Have you or someone you know ever made that statement? Economy heating, air conditioning, and plumbing has heard it a lot. Did you know that furnaces and air conditioners are most likely to break down when they're under stress? That means during the hottest and coldest months of the year, like those months quickly approaching us. With winter on the horizon, now is the time to replace that old rickety unit. With 0% financing for up to 72 months and up to $600 in instant rebates, now is the time to buy. Doing great work is Economy's priority, and the satisfaction of their customers is their number one goal, guaranteed. Make your home comfortable this winter. Contact Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing today by calling 317-831-5279 or visit them at economyheatingandair.com.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Welcome back. By the way, program brought to you in part by Spur of the Moment Creations. They are located here in central Indiana in Fishers, actually, just a little bit north of Indy. And they make homemade, hand-poured candles and melts right here locally. You can check them out on their website, spurofthemomentcreations.com, spurofthemomentcreations.com. By the way, have you grabbed your copy of Vogue magazine? Vogue magazine has finally decided that putting a first lady on the cover of the magazine is a good idea. Now, I couldn't care two hoots about this, but I do find it ironic that we literally had a sitting fashion model in the White House. Vogue never offered to put Melania Trump, a fashion model on a fashion magazine cover. They never even considered that. Didn't make sense to them for what? Well, we know why, because they're radical leftists. But now, just a few months into Biden's term as president, as he's saving America from the mess of Trump, wink, wink. Meanwhile, he's creating messes and more problems for this nation to deal with, starting at the border, starting at just the way that government intervenes in our lives and controls our lives, and all these other things that are coming, government spending, regulation, taxes, you name it, international relations. We're watching as tensions rise, especially with Iran and so forth. But anyhow, Joe Biden I don't know much about Vogue, but I don't feel like what she's sporting here on the cover really fits the Vogue image. But nonetheless, there she is on the cover of Vogue. The title of the article, A First Lady for All of Us. A First Lady for All of Us. She's smiling here on the balcony of the White House overlooking the grounds of the White House, and you can see the Washington Monument in the background, which may be deemed racist at some point. I don't know. Actually probably is now in certain circles. But again, the idea, we had a fashion model in the White House, and apparently, as has been reported in the past, I didn't know this, but Vogue did offer to do a profile of Melania in their magazine. I think it says twice here in this Breitbart article, and she refused because it was not accompanied with a cover shoot. Instead, Vogue has held on to that opportunity for the next First Lady, Jill Biden. So run out and get your copy today. I'm sure many of you are subscribers to Vogue anyway. Hardly. Quick time out here is necessary. Sit tight. Back here in just a minute.
Had enough of the cancel culture? Why not fight back by directly supporting the advertisers who make this program possible? Visit supportouradvertisers.com to give those who help bring this program to you the opportunity to earn your business. Find out more about businesses like Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, Care to Change, and Interior Construction Services by visiting supportouradvertisers.com today.
If you're thinking of buying or selling a home, call my good friend Scott Veerkamp. Scott and his team have been helping people with their real estate needs since 1992, and he has sold literally thousands of homes for good families just like yours. For all your real estate needs, call Scott Veerkamp today at 317-979-4663. That's 979-HOME.
Were you surprised by your tax return last year? Did you get a large refund? Or worse, did you have to pay more than you thought to the IRS? Or maybe you just got a new job, had a baby, or are going into retirement. Why wait for another tax surprise this year? Let Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group help you project your taxes for the year to save you the stress come tax time. 317-288-5260. Jody and his team will analyze your paychecks to see if you're withholding too much or too little and help make corrections to any W-4s. If you're the sole proprietor of a business, this is a great idea for you to prepare for your tax filing. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and their new location in Greenfield. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. And don't wait. The sooner you act, the more prepared you can be for any hidden tax surprises. That's 317-288-5260 or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com.
Weddings, reunions, business, church, or family retreats. Indiana Paradise Retreat is a hidden gem located right here in central Indiana. With over 11,000 square feet, a theater, gym, sauna, hot tub, pool, stocked lakes, and even an on-site event hangar, we have just the place for your next event. Find us on Airbnb, VRBO, or just search for Indiana Paradise Retreat. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Our word can't be diluted, because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Are you looking for reliable advice on real estate investing? Then you should start listening to the Homeboys. Clint and Scott have over 40 years of real estate investing experience that they use to educate and guide their listeners. Listen and learn from their experiences to maximize your real estate investment strategy. You can find the Homeboys podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or watch them on YouTube. That's the Homeboys podcast. They can show you how to get started and reach your real estate investment goals.
Not again! There's never any hot water left for my shower. Everyone else gets a nice long soak and I'm left with ice water. I'm calling Commercial Service about their latest offer on tankless water heaters. I can save up to $800 on an installation. No more cold showers for me.
Call the partner you can trust. Call Commercial Service at 812-339-9114 or online at commercialservice.com. Commercial Service. Commercial grade service for your home.
Welcome back. I don't care, by the way, that Dr. Jill Biden, is on the cover of Vogue magazine. I couldn't care two hoots about that, but I just find it slightly ironic as to why Vogue wouldn't put the fashion model on the cover. It seems to me like a match made in heaven, except for everything is political, of course, right? Everything is political, and they wanted you to think it's just those little subtle things. Don't put her on the cover because she's married to a Nazi. This is dangerous. Vogue's got to do its part here. And this is the sort of stuff that resonates with some of these, as Rush used to call them, low information voters. I've got to go, folks. Thanks so much for listening. SDG. See you tomorrow. Take care.
Let's face it, moving is stressful. That's why Jones Movers, a family-owned business for over 40 years, is here to help. Our team is ready to help and respond quickly to your questions. We can handle local and out-of-state moves, which means we can move your items to wherever your pin drops on the map. We also offer self-storage units for furniture and items you need a place for. Go to jonesmovers.com to get things moving today, or visit our Facebook page, Jones Movers.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in Central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.